Go ahead and open your eyes and notice what you notice. Important part there. Notice what you notice. Don't define it overly, but don't forget it and defend it and let it go. But be aware of it, because when we come back to revisit it, you're going to want to remember, oh yeah, my knees did kind of feel like that. You know, or it just shouldn't be a new surprise at the end. Go ahead and take the ball and place the ball underneath whichever foot you feel like it took more attention as you were starting that assessment. And go ahead and press straight down into that foot. As you press straight down the foot, begin to have that nice even shifting right to left, so you can feel the body weight going from right to left. If the ball moves slightly forward or slightly back, you may have a new experience with that ball. It may feel like, oh, I didn't know I had that little corner. I was staying so in my little happy place right in the center, and I shifted off. I'm like, whoa, there's a whole new experience in pain. Dave, I'm going to ask you, I know it seems rude, take your thumb out. Sorry. It just keeps you from having to think about that all the time. Good process. Good pause. Good. Hold that weight nice and evenly. Take your arms up and overhead. Take your arms back down and roll the shoulders, and then come back up. Just finding where all your joints are. Step back with your left foot. Keep your left knee slightly softened. Move the ball to the big toe knuckle and press straight down and come back up. Press straight down and come back up. I'll always provide you an Altoid if you want an Altoid at the end of class. Press straight down and come back up. Press straight down and come back up. Good. Take that ball to the inside arch of that foot. Press down. Take a breath and move the ball to the knuckle behind the big toe. Press down and breath, and then to the outside arch between the pinky toe knuckle and the heel. Press down and come up, and then position point 5 where the arch meets the heel. Press down. Just a nice even pressure, and begin to move that ball side to side. Feel that gliding. Remember, gliding is a preparatory technique with the soft ball. With the firm ball, it's more of an investigative technique. If you're only using a large soft, then it just is what it is. And you can do it 2 times. Like this morning, I did a tire treatment twice. I did the whole right foot, and then I did my whole left foot, and then I went back and did the right foot again. So you can do that if you want to. It's your permission. I'm giving that to you now. Bring the ball back to where the position point 5 is. Put about 50% more pressure into it, and then just pin that ball in and begin to move that ball side to side, just like you're twisting the ball into the foot. Pause. Release the tension, move the ball to the big toe knuckle, and press to the heel. To the second toe knuckle, press. To the third toe knuckle, and press. You kind of feel like not just you're rolling over the ball, but you're compressing the ball back, like it's taking tissue with it. Not a lot of tissue. One more. Good. And then friction. Roll out, roll in, underneath the toes, to the heels, side to side, and then pause. Just bring your feet to parallel, leave them there just for a second. And just stand on that right leg. Notice how the body weight feels on that right side or left if that's the side you did. And then go ahead and open the eyes. So you're just making a real quick reconnect. And then let's grab the large firm ball. Good. So start with the large firm ball in the center of that right foot. Notice my left foot is back, so I'm not putting all the weight straight down. My heel is also on the ground first, just to prepare. So I always want to find tolerable pressure and not just jam my foot into the ball. And I start with a little teeter-totter, just to kind of keep that evenness there. And then slowly the teeter-totter gets a little smaller. And you can really begin to feel that ball. And it may never become terribly tolerable. Good. Pause with your foot kind of over the ball. You can feel all that bundle of nerves going, I'm not going to stay here very long. And then move the ball back to position point 5. And begin to gently and slowly move the ball side to side. You want to kind of draw outside the lines on this. So as you take the ball to the outside and the inside, see if you can get the ball completely out the outside of the foot. Take that time to be aware of where that ball is going. Use the full capacity of the ball. Nice, you guys. Good. Good. And then come back to that position point 5, and then tip your heel back. So your toes back up, and then you're just going to flex. So put the weight of your body just slightly into that ball, not all of it. Just squinch and open, squeeze and open. One more time, squeeze and open. Then you're for rinsing. This time we're going to take the ball to the big toe, just underneath that big toe, and you're going to take it all the way to the pinky toe side. Pull across. Pull across. It's so funny that we can hear them, or I can hear them all the way. They're just kind of in the back of my head. Like, where's that echo? They're all the way at the house. Right, I can hear them. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, just I mean, I can't hear what they're saying. I just hear people talking. One more time. Pull across, and then pause, and then we're going to do a friction again. Just roll back and forth. So that is a rinsing technique, but just in a different direction. Go ahead and pause. The leg might feel a little tingly all the way up that one leg. That is a fluid return response. Go ahead and bring those feet parallel to each other, and just kind of now you can make an observation of balance between the right and left side. Is that right side feel more full, more complete? Does the left side still feel like maybe there's some craggliness, maybe there's some stuff kind of still stuck, not really let go of on the left side? Do they still feel identical or still feel completely different from each other? Just take some notice, take some mental notes. Go ahead and open your eyes, and let's grab the large softball again. We'll start at the center of that left foot, if that's the foot you're on, and just again shift side to side. Make sure you're breathing through, because remember, breathing is just how we move stuff through the body. It seems just like just inhale, exhale, it's just what we do, but it actually is how everything really gets pushed around through the body. Lack of breathing is a little stagnation. Good. Pause. Balance. Take your arms up. Take your arms back down. Roll forward. Roll back. Take that right foot back. Let's go to the position point pressing. Big toe knuckle press down. Second toe knuckle press down. Think of the weight as pushing up. Notice if you have any, like you can't really see those knuckles. Like I have a little inflammation going on. My knuckles aren't really visible. Press down. Cramped a little bit. Just cramp the toe. Press down. And then to the inside arch, right where the arch meets the heel. And then to the outside. And then go up. And then to position point 4. Press down. And position point 5. Push down into that position point 5. Good. Sink your weight back and then begin to glide the ball back to the heel. And back to the arch. Good. And then pause. Put about 50% more pressure. Tighten the shimmy up. Good. Pause, and then let's rinse. Big toe to heel, second toe to heel, third toe to heel, fourth and fifth toe to heel, and then friction. Underneath the toes to the ankle, or roll the ankle out, roll the ankle in. Good. And then pause. Put that ball, put mine away. And then bring those feet just again, real quick check-in. Just notice the right and left foot. The right leg might still feel much more full, much more complete. Left leg may be starting to come back online. And then take a breath, release. Let's grab the large firm ball. Again, heel starts on the ground. Ball is right about the center of the foot, and then just kind of teeter-totter. Good. Good. You can begin to put more weight into it as it's tolerable. Good. And then pause. See if you can get the weight. Notice my right foot is back, so I'm not putting weight evenly, but I am putting the majority of my weight on this side evenly around the ball. Good. Open the toes, move the ball back to the position point 5 and begin to do that glide side to side. That hip may feel a little bit better. The knee may feel good. The ankle may feel like it wants to roll over that ball. nice and even. So feel that evenness. You may notice, some spots in there that are kind of stuck. 2 more times. Back and forth, and then pause. So again, we're at position point 5. You're putting pressure again, but then you're going to tip back. So that ball is kind of pressed back where the arch meets the heel. Sink some weight into there and flex and point, or open and close the toes. Good. And then pause, and then move the ball to the knuckle at the big toe and pull across. Pull across to the pinky side. Pull across. Pull. 4. And last one. Good. And then friction. Good. Let's do friction on the first foot again. Roll, turn underneath the toes, turn your foot in, turn your foot out, and then the second foot one more time. Good. And then go ahead and pause. Let's do a reassess. You should be magically perfectly fixed. Everything should be better. Check your bank account. It's probably full of money. It's exploding out. Body's nice and tall. Chest is lifted. Shoulders back. Let's start at the feet. Notice the feet, how they land on the ground. Notice if it feels like the toes are separate toes, or it still feels like a big glob of gum on the bottom of your foot. But the feet should feel individual, neither rolled out or rolled in, ideally. Notice that ankle. If the ankles now feel like they're more even, more easy from the rise up from the foot or from the extension into the ankles or the calves. Taking that attention up the back side of the legs. Notice the calves into the back of the knees. That space should feel full but not swollen. And then the hamstrings and the glutes and the quadriceps. Are you still gripping, or do they feel like knees are nice and evenly soft, holding you up with those stabilizers instead of the movers? Big deep breath. Exhale, lift up all 10 toes. Now notice how your body accepts that change of foot position. And then as you exhale in the next breath, drop all 10 toes. The body come back to center without a big whoosh off to one side or the other. Go ahead and open your eyes and just take a sip if you want, and we'll come to the ground. All right, go ahead and come onto the ground, and we're going to start with the rest assess on your back. So laying on your back, and let your head come down to the ground gently, and then make sure that your legs extend out kind of gently, so you're not just immediately going into a flat back or an elongated back position. So you can really see if you've got tension or in any area. Remember, with the rest assess, it's not just that you are noticing high back or low back or anything like that. It's that you're looking for kind of consistent patterns potentially. Also, if you have pain, that's an assessment in and of itself. So don't deny that assessment that you're feeling of, I've got pain. That could be your only assessment, and you just kind of rest and breathe as I walk through the rest of it. And ideally, as we finish, you should find some resolve to that pressure, that pain in the body. Let the head drop back and let the arms open. And again, ideally, as you're laying down, you slowly let your legs drop out. Let those arms, but then just take a moment to just notice the general masses and spaces that are touching the ground. Are your arms, palms open naturally, or do you start with your palms down more naturally? I'll encourage you to have your palms open. It just opens the shoulders up a little bit more. And then building and filling that breath into the body. Exhale, soften. We'll start with the head now, noticing the head weight. The head and the shoulders down into the sternum is all of that first area that stuck stress loves to live. So notice it if the head feels either pressed back into the ground, or does the head feel off center to the ground? Do your shoulders feel risen, hyped up? Or do you feel nice and level onto the ground, almost like level to your hands? Notice if your shoulder blades are pointing back into the ground, or if you feel an even pressure on your back all the way down to the rib wall. Ideally, of course, you should feel even across the arms, from arm to arm, and the weight of your head is behind the bridge of your nose. The second area of stuck stress is, of course, in the rib wall, so noticing if the rib wall has a high back arch. It feels like your back is rounded or elevated off the ground, maybe all the way to your pelvis. Ideally, you should have a nice even arch in the back. If you breathe into the rib cage, it should feel relatively even, right and left sides. And then you should notice a possible smaller back arch from your navel to the top of your pelvis. Remember, your pelvis is multiple bones. It's not just a bone of the pelvis. You actually have the spine that intersects the pelvis, the sacrum, and then you have two halves to the pelvis. You also have the coccyx, which is kind of the base of the spine as well. On the pelvis, ideally, you would have evenly weighted cheeks, not perked up necessarily, but just evenly weighted. And your hamstrings would feel like they're touching the ground. And all the way down into your feet, you would notice your feet evenly dropping east and west, kind of northeast, northwest. If you feel like all your weight is in your bones of the sacrum or off to one cheek, if you can't feel your hamstrings or don't notice your hamstrings touching the ground, or if one foot feels like it's carried all the way to the ground, or your toes are pointing forward towards me, notice those things are all imbalances in that area, and you've got some pretty good stuck stress living in your pelvis. Now, it's very easy to just get commonly used to all these areas and think, oh, it's just the way I am, instead of the way ideally you would be, which would be all of these areas: head balanced head weight, balanced to even weight into your shoulders, down to your sternum, a low, even back line all the way to your navel, a small back arch, nice even pelvis to the ground with touching hamstrings, calves, and an even drop out of both of those feet. And then the last part is your reflexive balance, which is up the midline of the body. You've separated your body into two even vertical halves. So the right ankle to the right ear, left ankle to the left ear. On those halves, you would notice the halves were evenly weighted in length, one leg not longer than the other, and in weight to the ground. Ideally, after a foot treatment, you should feel pretty balanced. Again, the reason why to do a rest assess is to make that cognitive connection to what's maybe out of position, so when you get it back, or after we do a particular movement or a particular map, you go, oh, boom, that helped this. Oh, that made a big difference here. And so redoing a map over and over again, you should have resetting of the same similar issues, and the body begins to find that nice ease within the movement. Go ahead and roll yourself to one side, or if you need to come up and grab your roller. Your roller a little bit out of reach here. Good. And we're going to get on vertical. So you're going to get on head to hips on your roller, kind of hike one cheek up, and then bring your body centered. Now take a moment to make sure that your head and your hips are evenly on the roller, so you're not just barely on the roller on one side or the other, as well as make sure that you are down, your roller is down the center of your body. This time you can place your hands on the ground, so as you rock and you come into gentle rock, you can feel that even drop to your left and to your right. And you may notice that maybe just your head is wanting to move. Or maybe your shoulders are doing all the work. You're dropping in there. Or how about your hips? Are your hips swaying? Can you connect into the breathing enough so that your nose to your navel pretty much stays in alignment, and you tip to your right and catch yourself and tip to your left? So that rocking is like a baby in the center of a cradle,
baby isn't dropping out of the cradle. The baby isn't just tipping off to one side and just staying in on one side, but an even, soft, gentle rock. Go ahead and pause just in the center of the roller. Breathe to fill the belly and rest back. Take your hands so your thumbs hit your navel and your other part of your hands center into the pelvis, and just feel the weight of your hands into your pelvis. Elbows can kind of drop by your sides. Now remember, in this tuck and tilt, is the hands can influence the tuck and tilt. The other night when my back was bugging me, I couldn't really tuck my pelvis very well or tilt. A lot of pain going on. But I did the motion really just with my hands, where I pressed the heel of my hands in gently and then more the fingertips in. So I gave it a sense of tuck and tilt without doing the movement as much. So as you can, begin to drop the top of the pelvis towards the roller, almost imprinting the spine, heel of the hands pressing down, and then tilt the pelvis back to level with the fingertips kind of pressing into the lower part of the pelvis. Tucking and tilting. Tuck the pelvis and tilt and tuck and tilt. Feel that gentle rocking back and forth. You're not allowing the rib cage to rise and fall. You're disassociating, differentiating to the head and shoulders, so there's not a lot of movement there. And then just pause. Take your right hand to your chest, leave your left hand on the center of your belly. And I want you to breathe first, just underneath that left hand. Breathe into your hand on your left. Just raise your belly. Exhale. And then breathe to the space around your rib wall, just there. See if you can do it without your chest or your belly rising. Exhale. And then breathe into your right hand, your chest. And exhale. And then think of all 6 sides of the body. The top, the bottom, the outer side, the back side, and breathe into the body. All at the same time. And exhale. All at the same time. Once again, inhale all at the same time. And exhale. Take both hands out, reach toward the knees, thumbs pointing back slightly towards the head, reaching to the top of the knees up, so your hands are slightly above the thighs. Continue by pulling your hands further towards the top of the knees. The upper back releases slightly from the roller, and then gently let your arms drop back so the shoulder blades almost hug the roller. Reach out towards your knees and drop the shoulder blades back. Reach out without any bend in the elbow, and then let the shoulders drop back. So there's very little movement happening here. You're just feeling the arms move away from the shoulders and settle back in. Reach out toward the knees and drop back. One more time, reach towards the knees, and then fingertips touch. Pull your fingertips away from each other, allowing yourself to hold a gigantic ball on your belly. Arms just about touch the ground. If they do, just lift them off the ground and then bring the hands back together again. See if you can find that same distance as you pull those hands away from each other. Feel that tensional pull between your right and your left forearm, and then exhale. And then pull those fingers away from each other. And then exhale. And then once again, just like that, pull those arms away. Arms are almost to the ground, and then drop your left fingers as you curl your right fingers in, and then to the other side. Curl your left wrist in as you drop your right fingers back. Just kind of like you're tossing a ball almost from hand to hand. It's a little bit more exaggerated. But again, you're feeling the tensional pull, biceps to your forearm, to your hand. And then drop both wrists. So your fingers point down, curl both wrists. Fingers curl in. One more time, drop. And then curl. And then release your arms down just for a moment. Big deep breath. Bringing your palms together again so your fingertips touch. Take your right hand toward your head and then switch and bring your left hand towards your head. Now with this single arm reach, you're focusing in not just on your hand going over your head, but the distance between the right pinky finger as it goes over your head and the thumb of the left hand as it goes down to your side and vice versa. So you're feeling underneath the arms, not as the weight of the arm gets higher and as the weight of the arm gets lower, but that pull or the opposition between the arms. Remember, we're looking for a tensional pull, not for a stretch. So that's also why the arms don't go over the head completely and come towards the ground. They're just going out of eye line or just going past the top of the thigh. Once more, take your right arm overhead and left. And then let's bring both arms up overhead and circle back around for a double arm reach. Both arms overhead. Same thing applies. You're not trying to take the arms below the eye line or below the ear line. You may feel the pull of the muscles differently as the arms move essentially in unison. Take those arms up, circle around, and again up and circle around. Once more, take those arms up and overhead, circle your arms all the way around back to your sides, and let your arms drop. Take a big deep breath in through your nose and exhale. Slide one leg out and then roll off the roller. Move the roller out from underneath you and lay back onto the ground. Again, letting your body settle into the ground. Arms are wide, palms are towards the sky. And we're now just reassessing. Started with that head and notice again the head weight, ideally neutral to the back with a bridge of the nose. The shoulders evenly weighted across upper back. Ideally the rib cage level, less back arch, small back arch at the lower part of the back. Even weight on the hips, the glutes, hamstrings touching, and the knees dropping out just a rest. Then once again, divide the body down the midline of the body. Notice those even halves.